February 10, 2026. Morning commuters drove along the highway between Lecce and Brindisi. The sun was rising over the Italian countryside. Traffic was light. Then they saw the blue lights. Two vehicles blocked both lanes ahead. Flashing blue emergency lights. Looked like a police checkpoint. Drivers slowed down. Some stopped completely. Then the vehicles exploded into flames. A wall of fire erupted across the highway. Black smoke billowed into the sky. Masked men appeared from the smoke, armed with AK-47 rifles, wearing black and white coveralls. This wasn't a police checkpoint. This was a military-style ambush. Seconds later, an armored van skidded to a halt, trapped by the inferno. The masked men surrounded it, placed explosives on the doors. The blast was so powerful it sent the van airborne, ripping off the roof. Military precision, professional execution, months of planning. The gang did everything right, and they walked away with absolutely nothing. How did a perfectly executed heist end in total failure? And what technology stopped them cold despite explosions, gunfire, and the highway turned into a war zone? To understand this robbery, you need to understand the crisis gripping Italy. For the past 2 years, armored van companies across southern Italy have been under siege, not by disorganized criminals, by paramilitary gangs executing military-grade operations. December 1st, 2025, Calabria region. A Battistoli armored van was ambushed on a rural highway. The gang used burning vehicles to block the road, explosives to breach the van. They escaped with €2 million in cash. January 5th, 2026, Abruzzo region. Another Battistoli van, another highway ambush, another explosion. This time, €400,000 stolen. January 7th, 2026, Cerignola, Foggia province. A Battistoli convoy was attacked. Armed men, explosives, gunfire. The pattern was unmistakable. Someone was systematically targeting one company, Battistoli Group, one of Italy's largest cash-in-transit operators. Between 2019 and 2023, armored van robberies in southern Italy resulted in €1.6 billion stolen. In just the past 2 years, Battistoli alone suffered 14 attacks. The robberies were becoming bolder, more violent, more sophisticated. Italian authorities knew who was responsible. Foggia, a province in Puglia known for producing some of Italy's most dangerous organized crime syndicates. These weren't common thieves. They were specialists, former military, engineers, demolition experts. They studied armored vans like scientists, analyzed security systems, tested explosives, and they were getting better. Carabinieri Colonel Cristian Marello sat in his office in Lecce, reviewing attack reports. They're learning from each robbery, perfecting their methods, escalating the violence. We need to stop them before someone gets killed. By early 2026, Battistoli was hemorrhaging money. Security costs were skyrocketing. Insurance premiums were through the roof. But the company had one advantage the gangs didn't know about: a secret weapon installed in their vans. A technology that would turn February 10th's perfect heist into the biggest failure in Italian robbery history. But before that technology could be tested, the gang had to execute their plan. So who were these men? And how did they prepare for Italy's most audacious armored van heist? Late 2025, Foggia province, Puglia. Somewhere in southern Italy, a man sat alone in a warehouse, studying surveillance photos spread across a table. The mastermind, his identity still unknown to authorities. He'd been watching Battistoli for months, and he'd found the perfect target. He recruited carefully, 6 men, all professionals. A 38-year-old from Foggia, quick, aggressive, had done armed robberies before. A 62-year-old from Cerignola, experienced, knew how to handle explosives. 4 others, all from Foggia, all desperate for money. By early 2026, the crew was assembled. The mastermind gathered his crew in the warehouse. Maps covered the walls. He pointed to a red circle on the map. SS 613 highway, near Tutorano, between Lecce and Brindisi. Why there? The 38-year-old asked. Isolated, minimal police, easy escape routes, and Friday mornings, the vans carry 1 to 2 million euros. The crew exchanged glances. That kind of money could change their lives. The mastermind walked them through it. We blocked the highway with 2 vehicles outfitted with fake police lights. Drivers think it's a checkpoint. Then we light the vehicles on fire. Wall of flames. The armored van gets trapped. He pulled out a block of C4 explosive. 6 men, full tactical gear, AK-47 rifles. We place shaped charges on the van's doors and roof, detonate, breach the armor. What about the drivers? They stay in the cab. This is about money, not murder. We grab the cash, spread spike strips for police, split up and disappear. 3 minutes total. The plan was thorough. Every detail covered. Over the following weeks, they prepared, rehearsed in abandoned fields, tested explosives on old car doors, drilled weapon handling and coordination, stole 2 Alfa Romeo Stelvios, installed fake blue lights, acquired AK-47 rifles on the black market. By early February, they were ready. February 9th, 2026. Evening, the warehouse. The crew assembled one last time. Weapons on tables, explosives in bags, masks and coveralls ready. The mastermind addressed them. Tomorrow, 7:50 a.m., the Battistoli van passes through Tutorano. We set up at 7:30. Light the fires at 7:53. Surround, detonate, grab the cash. 3 minutes before Carabinieri arrived. He looked each man in the eye. We stick to the plan, we move fast, and we all walk away rich. The men nodded, confident. They'd done jobs like this before. Calabria, Abruzzo, Cerignola. This would be no different. The younger gang member cleaned his AK-47 rifle that night. This is it, the big score. After this, I'm done. Take the money and disappear. February 10th, 2026, 6:30 a.m. The crew woke early. Final equipment checks. At 7:30 a.m., they reached the SS 613 highway near Tutorano. The 2 Stelvios drove onto the highway, parking across both lanes. The trap was set. The mastermind checked his watch. 7:45 a.m. He radioed his crew. Positions, this is it. At 7:53 a.m., he gave the order. Light them. The 2 vehicles erupted in flames. The highway became an inferno. The plan was perfect. The crew was ready. But what happened in the next 3 minutes would destroy everything. And the millions they came to steal would be sealed away forever. 7:53 a.m. SS 613 highway, Tutorano. The 2 Alfa Romeo Stelvios erupted in flames. Thick black smoke poured into the sky. Motorists slammed on their brakes. Confusion, panic, people grabbing their phones to film. Then the masked men appeared. Motorist Anna Ricci was driving to work in Lecce when she saw the fire ahead. She hit the brakes, her heart pounding. What is this? An accident? A car fire? Then she saw them. Men in masks, black and white coveralls, carrying rifles. Oh my God, this is a robbery. She grabbed her phone, started recording. A black Battistoli armored van rounded the curve, heading straight toward the flames. Driver Giuseppe Moretti, 47, had been doing this route for 8 years. His hands tightened on the wheel. This is an ambush, just like the others. Control, this is Unit 7. Hostile situation on SS 613. Armed men burning vehicles, requesting immediate Carabinieri response. But he knew. Help wouldn't arrive in time. He slammed the brakes. His partner Marco grabbed the internal alarm. Lock it down, now. Masked men swarmed the van. 6, 8, maybe 10. Military precision. Rifles up. A masked man pressed his AK-47 to Giuseppe's bulletproof window. Get out, or we blow it up. Giuseppe shook his head, stayed put. Shaped charges placed on the rear doors, the side panels, the roof. Anna, still filming 50 meters back, watched in disbelief. Her hands trembled. "Madonna mia," she whispered. "They're going to blow it up." Boom! The van lifted off the ground, actually airborne, then crashed back down with a metallic crunch. Rear doors blown off. Roof peeled back like a tin can. Inside, the explosion rang in Giuseppe's ears. The cabin shook violently, but they were alive. The masked men stormed toward the cargo area. This was it. Millions of euros, right there. The first gang member reached the opening and stopped. What the hell is this? The entire interior was covered in white foam, thick, expanding, already hardening like concrete. The mastermind ran over. His face went pale behind his mask. No, 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 no. What is this? They clawed at it. Rock hard. Crowbar. Nothing. Knife. Too thick. Get it out. Pull the compartments out. Impossible. Bolted down. Completely encased. Then, the mastermind's mind raced. No cash. Sirens getting closer. We've been here almost 3 minutes. We're out of time. Move. We're out. Now. The gang sprinted to getaway vehicles hidden on side roads. Spike strips thrown across the highway. Engines roared. They scattered into the countryside. But one stolen Fiat sputtered and died 5 kilometers away. Start it. Start it. The engine wouldn't turn over. We need another car. Now. They spotted 22-year-old student Luca Santoro pulling out of a parking lot. Get out! Get out! Luca's hands shot up. He scrambled out, stumbling. The gang sped off, leaving him shaking on the side of the road. Back at the highway, Carabinieri screamed onto the scene. But the gang was already gone. Giuseppe and Marco climbed out of the van, ears still ringing, covered in dust. Are you hurt? Did they get anything? Giuseppe looked back at the wreckage, blown doors, foam-filled cargo area. He shook his head slowly. They got nothing. The system worked. The gang had executed a military precision operation, overwhelming force, perfect timing. But a single piece of technology had stopped them cold. What was this foam? And how did it turn a €1 million heist into a total failure? The foam that destroyed the gang's plans wasn't luck. It was a security system called Spuma Block, and it's one of the most effective anti-theft technologies in the armored transport industry. Spuma Block is an Italian-designed system installed inside cash-in-transit vans. Here's how it works. Sensors throughout the van detect explosions, forced entry, tampering with locks or panels, sudden violent impacts. The moment any trigger activates, high-pressure nozzles hidden in the cargo area release a 2-part polyurethane foam mixture. Within 3 to 5 seconds, the foam expands rapidly to fill the entire compartment. It's not regular foam. It's a chemical reaction that produces a substance that hardens almost instantly into a concrete-like solid. The cash, stacked in secure compartments, becomes completely encased. You can't pull it out. You can't cut through it quickly. You can't burn it off without destroying the money. The only way to remove the foam safely is with specialized dissolving agents and equipment back at the depot. A process that takes hours. Traditional armored van robberies rely on speed. Get in, grab the cash, get out. Most gangs plan for 2 to 3 minutes on site. Any longer, and police arrive. But Spuma Block makes accessing the cash in that time frame impossible, even with military-grade explosives, even with cutting tools and brute force. The foam always wins. After suffering 14 attacks in 2 years and losing millions, Battistoli made a strategic decision. They quietly began installing Spuma Block systems across their fleet. Battistoli executives sat in a boardroom in Rome. The security chief presented the data. We're losing an average of €800,000 per successful attack. Insurance costs are bankrupting us. Spuma Block cost €50,000 per van to install. but it has a 100% success rate in field test. The CEO made the call. Install it in every van, but don't announce it. Let them find out the hard way. The Tuturano ambush was the first time a spummer block-equipped van faced a full-scale military assault in southern Italy. The gang had no idea. They'd studied Battistoli's vans. They'd planned for reinforced doors, bulletproof glass, GPS tracking, time delay locks. But they hadn't planned for foam that activated faster than they could react. When investigators examined the van hours later, they found rear doors completely destroyed, roof torn, open cargo area filled with solid foam, all cash intact and protected inside the foam. Estimated amount saved 1 to 2 million euros. The gang had been inches away from the biggest score of their careers, and they left with nothing. A Carabinieri forensics officer stood beside the van, shaking his head. They did everything right. The planning, the execution, the firepower, everything. But you can't beat chemistry. The foam activated in 3 seconds. Game over. But the story didn't end with the foam saving the money. Because while the technology won the battle, the gang was still out there, and the Carabinieri were coming for them. How long would it take to catch the men who turned a highway into a war zone? February 10th, 2026, 8:30 a.m., Carabinieri Command Center, Lecce. Colonel Christian Morello stood in the operations room, phone pressed to his ear, coordinating the response. I want every roadblock activated, every patrol unit on alert. These men are armed and dangerous. Morello had been chasing these Foggia gangs for 2 years. 14 attacks, millions stolen. But this time was different. They failed. And failed criminals make mistakes. Forensics teams processed the scene. Burned out Stelvios, shell casings, explosive residue, dozens of cell phone videos from witnesses. Then at 8:47 a.m., a call came in. My name is Luca Santoro. 2 armed men just stole my car. Blue Fiat Punto, license plate BG472KL guns, masks. They came from Tuturano. Carabinieri immediately activated automatic license plate readers across Puglia. Every highway camera, every toll booth, every major intersection. At 1:45 p.m., a ping, rural road outside San Severo, Foggia province, Blue Fiat Punto, BG472KL. 3 patrol units converged. The Fiat accelerated, a high-speed chase, 80, 90, 100 kilometers per hour on winding rural roads. Inside the Fiat, the 38-year-old gripped the wheel, sweat pouring down his face. They're right behind us. Just keep driving. We lose them in the fields. The Fiat took a turn too fast, lost control, crashed through a fence and slammed into a ditch. Both men ran, sprinting across plowed fields, jumping irrigation ditches. The 38-year-old tripped, tackled, cuffed. The 62-year-old made it 100 meters before collapsing, exhausted, hands raised. I'm done. I'm done. Within a week, 4 additional suspects identified, but the mastermind remained at large. 2 suspects in custody, millions saved by foam, but the mastermind still free. What does this failed heist mean for Italy's war on armored van robberies? And will the technology that stopped them change organized crime forever? Word spread fast through Foggia, Naples, Calabria. Battistoli vans have foam. They're untouchable. Planned robberies across southern Italy were cancelled overnight. Within 6 months, industry analysts predict over 60% of Italian armored vans will have foam-based security. The mastermind remains at large, hiding in rural Foggia, or fled to Albania. If caught, he faces life imprisonment. He made one fatal assumption, that Battistoli's vans were the same as they'd always been. They weren't, and 3 seconds of foam destroyed months of planning. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more weekly documentaries on crime, technology, and the heist that changed everything. Will the mastermind ever be caught? Drop your theories below.